Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another first grade lesson. My name is Jeremy Buente. I'm a first grade teacher in the EVSC. We've got a really fun math lesson for you today. I'm going to start showing you that it's standards based. It's an Indiana standard that we just haven't got to yet this school year, so I know your teachers really want you to learn this. It's a really fun subject. We just haven't got to it yet. And with school being out, it's something you're going to want to really pay attention to. So our standard today is about fractions. It says partition circles and rectangles into 2 and 4 equal parts. Describe the parts using the words halves, fourths, and quarters, and use the phrases half of, fourth of, and quarter of. It also says describe the whole as 2 of, 4 of, or the parts. Understand for partitioning circles and rectangles into 2 and 4 equal parts, that decomposing into equal parts creates similar parts. And that's a big standard, but we're going to break it down today and have a lot of fun learning it. Our resources today we're going to use are great for you to use at home anytime while we're out for school, even into the summer. It's Khan Academy, abc.com, and at the end I'm going to show you code.org. It's a great website to learn coding. So today we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you Khan Academy. So I'm going to click onto it on my computer, and Khan Academy is a great website if you want to learn a lot of things. So it's got videos that teach you different topics. So if you're interested in something about math, you're going to want to log into Khan Academy so you're ready for second grade or any grade that you want to be ready for. So today we're going to start with our Intro to Fractions lesson.
What we're going to talk about in this video is the idea of a fraction. We'll see there's many ways to think about a fraction. But first we'll think about the most fundamental. So let's say that I have this square, and this is the whole. We can consider this a whole. So let me write that down. This is a whole. It is a complete square. Now what I'm going to do is divide this into 4 equal parts. So with one cut like that, I've divided it into 2 equal parts. And then with another cut like this, I could divide it into 4 equal parts. So there are 4 equal parts. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of those equal parts. So let's say this part right over here. I am going to select that. So the question is, what fraction of the whole is the part that I have shaded in red? Well, it is 1 out of the 4 equal parts, right? I've shaded in 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So we write this as this fraction. This piece represents 1/4 of the whole. And there's 2 ways that you can think about this. You could view this as 1 of the 4 equal parts, or you could view this as a whole divided by 4 would get you exactly this much. Now let's do another one. And this time, let's think about how we could represent 1/8. So 1/8. Well, we could divide this whole. In this case, the whole is this rectangle looking thing. We could divide the whole into 8 equal parts. So let's do that. So here I've divided into 2 equal parts. That looks pretty good. And now I can divide each of those into 2 equal parts to get me 4 equal parts. And then if I were to divide each of those into 2 equal parts, I will have 8 equal parts. And it's not exact. Obviously, I've drawn it by hand, but hopefully this gets you a sense. So now I have 8 equal parts. 8 equal parts. And now I'm going to select exactly one of them. And that'll represent 1/8. And I could select any one of these, but I'll just do this one to show you it does not have to be necessarily the first one. So once again, this square right over here that I'm shading in red represents 1/8 of the whole. Now let's look at a few more examples where I've shaded them in ahead of time. And what I want you to do right now is pause the video and either in your head or on a piece of paper, write down, if you consider this purple thing the whole, what fraction does this red part represent? If you consider this blue part the whole, what fraction does this red part represent? If you view this yellow triangle as a whole, what fraction does this red part represent? And so I encourage you to pause the video now. Well, let's look at each of these. So in this case, for this rectangle, we have 3 equal parts, and we've shaded in one of them. So this red rectangle right over here represents 1/3 of the whole. Now over here, in this kind of pie looking thing, this circle looking thing, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. 5 equal parts. And we have shaded in one of those 5 equal parts. So this little slice of the pie, this represents 1/5. This right over here is 1/5 of the entire fraction, or of the entire pie. Now this one's interesting. You might be tempted to say, well, I've got 4 parts and then I've shaded in 1. That must represent 1/4. But remember, it needs to be 4 equal parts. And it's pretty clear looking at this that this part right over here is not equal in size to this part right over here or this part right over here. These are not 4 equal parts. So we cannot say that this is 1/4 of the triangle. So you cannot say that.
I think there's a lot of great information you can learn on Khan Academy. It goes all the way up to high school and even some college math subjects. So if you're looking for a way to learn a new subject, Khan Academy would be a great one for you. But the best thing about first grade is a lot of fun. And we can learn through games and activities. So I'm going to show you another website. We don't have time to play this game today, but I want to show you on EVSC. It's another free website just like Khan Academy, how we can learn through games. I'm going to click on search fractions, click on games. And you know that first grade standard isn't adding fractions, so we're going to scroll down, and I think it's on the second or third page for this, but it's just a game called Flinging Fractions. And so you might want to find, oh man, you know it's always harder to find it when you want. I'm going to go ahead and search Flinging Fractions. Oh, well, you know, you can find it at home if you want. I promise you it's on there. And that's a great website you can use too. But I showed you that last week. So make sure you get on there to do fraction activities, but I've got some great activities for you planned right now. And we are going to go ahead and look at these shapes. Some shapes are equal in this and some are unequal. So when we're dividing our fractions, we want to make sure they're either always in equal parts. So look at this one right here. This one is divided equally down the middle into 2 pieces, divided into half. That's an equal shape. Here's the same thing with a square. Divide it right down the middle diagonally, or we can take that square and cut it into half lengthways. What about this square? Is that equal? It is. It's just divided into 4 pieces. What about this one? It's divided into 4 pieces too, but are those the same size? No, that one goes in unequal. So does this one, this square, and this one. Think about maybe if it's like a pizza or a pie and you want equal pieces to share with your brother or sister or your friends. If it's unequal, that would be very fair to whoever gets that tiny piece in the corner. Let's go back through these last 2. What about this one? It's a square right here. Oh, already got that one. What about this one with 4 fractions? It's divided into 4, so they equal shapes? Absolutely. Here's that same rectangle. Divided into 4 pieces. Are they equal? You betcha. Last one, 4 shapes. They're triangles. They're the same. They're equal. We always want to make sure when we have a fraction that the shapes inside of that fraction are equal. If it's unequal, it's not a fraction. Now let's do some word problems. Here's a story. It says there are 4 apples. Jordan has half of them. How many does he have? Well, let's make a pile. Here's 1 for Jordan, 1 over here in the other half, another one for Jordan, another one over here for the other half. So each half is 2. That reminds me of a doubles fact. 2 plus 2 is 4. So half of 4 is 2. Let's just try that with a bigger number. Now there are 12 apples. Javian has half of them. How many does he have? What do you think the answer will be? Let's go and sort them. 1 for Javian, 1 over here. 1 for Javian, 1 over here. 1 for Javian, 1 over here. We got to make sure they're going to be equal partitions. 1 for Javian on the left. Let's keep 1 over here. See what we're doing, making sure each pile is even or equal. How many is in this pile right here for Javian? Did you count them? 6. Is this pile equal? It's got 6 too. So if Javian has half of 12, he has 6. Numbers are getting bigger. Now there's 20 apples. Nevaeh has half of them. How many does she have? What do you think half of 20 is? Do you know the doubles fact for 20? What are 2 numbers that you could add together to get 20? Watch me try while you're thinking. I have that fact memorized. I think 10 plus 10 is 20. So if I've got 10 over here, 10 over here, I know that half of 20 is 10. 10 plus 10 makes 20. Those are two equal piles. Now I'm back to 4 apples. Stephen has 1/4 of them. How many does he have? Well, if he has 1/4, that just means 1 out of 4. He's so lucky. He has 1 apple out of the other 4. Now I added more. It says, Stephen has 1/4 of the apples. We know that's 1. Now I added, Soraya has half of the apples. How many does she have? Well, we have 4. What's half of 4? I know you said 2. So here's Soraya's. She's got 2 apples here. How many apples are left? 1. I might eat that apple. Great job. Now I'm going to show you an activity you can do with shapes. Because remember I said that fractions is all about learning and having fun with some activities. So I'm going to show you one more time. I'm using a plate just like I did with another activity. I'm going to trace my plate to make a circle. Remember that standard said we're learning fractions with squares, rectangles, and circles. So I'm showing you circles today. And an activity you might do at home on your own is going to be making these puzzles out of squares or rectangles. So I traced my circle, and I've got a perfect circle just like that. All I need to do is cut it out. Do the very best cutting I can. I'm going to leave this one white, but I colored all my other puzzle pieces. I'll recycle that. And now I've got my fractions. So look what I did. I made sure to mark very carefully, making sure these pieces are equal. So I drew a line down the middle, and I made half. And then the other one I want to show you is 1/4. I drew a line down the middle, drew another line across. I have 4 equal size pieces. Now these are our standards, half and 1/4. But you're smarter than that. We can keep going. So look what else I did. I did 1/3. There's 1/4 again. I did 1/6. I did 1/8. And that's as far as I got. You might be able to go further. Some of the pieces with odd numbers are tricky to do. So it was kind of hard for me to make 7 equal pieces, so I just skipped that one. So watch what I'm going to do with my 1/2. It's the easiest puzzle to make. I just cut on the line. I'm going to put these two together. That's an easy puzzle. Then I'm going to go to 1/3. This is such a great puzzle because you can make it at home. Your teacher had so many fun resources in their classroom. But even if we're at home, we have some fun ways to learn fractions. I'm going to keep that one mixed up because then I'm going to go to 1/4. 4 pieces. Color this one blue, but you could color it any color you wanted to. This would be a fun game to play with your family or your brother or sister, or maybe eventually with some other family members or friends. But today, I'm going to play by myself, and that's fun too. I'm going to mix them all up, and I'm going to put them together. So I know if I've got my 4th, I'm going to put them all together to make my circle. 4 even pieces. I did the best I could to make them even. Let's go to 1/3. Here's 1/3 plus 1/3. That makes 2/3. That's 3/3. That's a whole piece. And then last is 1/6. Put them together. I still have some more pieces to make. I might make 1 out of 10 on this one. And then when I'm done, I'm going to turn them into squares and rectangles. I'm going to make all kinds of fraction puzzles. I might store these in a plastic bag or like a baggie so that I can keep them and play them all day long. That would help you learn your fractions, absolutely. The last activity I want to show you is a really fun website. It has a little bit of fractions on there, but mostly it's teaching us about coding. And what's coding? Well, it's going to explain more to us, but coding is something really important, and I think you are going to love it. So the website I'm going to show you is code.org, and it looks like this. And one of the things it teaches you is it says there's 1 hour of coding. So if you're looking for an hour that you have technology and you can stay busy, this would be a great website to use. There's stuff that'll keep you busy even for longer than an hour, but a lot of the activities are 1 hour. Parents, if you're looking for a fun activity for your students at home, this is a great 1 hour activity. And students can do it on their own, so you might be able to help them a little bit, but it's really important for students to learn how to try this on their own, not give up and keep learning. So this is something students can do without a lot of help from their parents. So I'm going to click on Dance Party, but there's lots of options right here for different activities. But dance party is the one I want to show you. It's going to start with an introductory video, and then I'm going to show you how to code.
Hi, my name is Miral Kadvi, and I'm a dancer, software developer, and creator of Illuminate. Computer science relates to creativity in numerous ways, immeasurable really. I mean, once you have the ability to write software, you can put ideas into anything. I do it with light suits. There's so much you can do once you have the tools to write software, and the possibilities are really endless. Over the next hour, you're going to get started with computer science by programming your own dance party. We've assembled some hit music and a team of great dancers for you to play with. You'll be using blocks of code to choose different dancers. Change your dance moves, make them respond to the music, and make them interactive. You'll see that your screen is split into 3 main parts. On the left is a play space. This is where your dancers will show up. The middle area is the toolbox. New blocks of code will be available in this space as you go through the lessons. The space to the right is the workspace. You can drag blocks out of the toolbox and into the workspace to build your program. The instructions for each level will be up here at the top of the screen. If you need a hint, just click the light bulb. To start off, let's make a new dancer with this red block. First, drag it out of the toolbox and snap it under this orange setup block. This dancer's a cat. You can also change where the dancer appears in your play space with this. Above the play space is the menu for picking out music. There are a ton of songs to choose from, so have fun finding your favorites. Under the play space is the run button. When you press run, you'll see the dancers from your program appear in the play space and the music will play. Try it yourself. And if you're feeling stuck, it's okay. Just get up and get moving. And before you know it, you'll have made your own dance party. So, what will you create?
All right, I'm going to show you this code.org dance party, and then after you watch that video and you've seen me do it, you are ready to explore it all on your own. So I'm going to click a first grade age on this. I'm going to say we're 7, so I can show you exactly what it's going to look like for you. And it gives you instructions, and even if you have trouble reading, a lot of these instructions you're going to figure out pretty quickly. This is a great website. You can learn how to code, and like we said, coding is just a program. It helps websites work and all kinds of things. It's going to be really helpful for you to learn. So I am going to start right now with making a new dancer. I got my sound turned off actually for this. So I can pick if I want a cat or a sloth, but I want to pick a cat. And I want to put him at the very, very top. And I'm going to click run and see if he shows up. And he did, so I've already got my first line of code. He's dancing to some music, and you could pick your own song. You might pick Lil Nas or Sierra or Macklemore. There's so many great choices. I know you're going to have a great dance party at home. I'm going to click, I completed puzzle 1, I get to click continue. Now there's something new for me to do, a new piece of code. Close that, and now I'm going to say when I push up, the cat is going to do what? Well, it says clap, but I can change that. I'm going to have him do the floss. Do I want him to go left or right? I think left. No, right. So now I get to push run again, and that means run my program. My program is what I'm writing with code. So I've clicked push, and so my cat's at the center. I'm going to push this up button. He did it. Did you see that? I'm going to continue. Now I'm on step 3. You can see that at the top. Remember how I said you don't really need a lot of help to figure this out? You can do it on your own? I was right, wasn't I? So I'm going to drag this button over. Now it says when down is pressed, my cat can do, and I get to pick a new dance. I'm going to have him clap high. I'm going to have him go the other direction And in this direction it says when, what direction is that? Left. If I want that, I just drag it over here. And I can have this cat do all kinds of crazy dance moves. So next I'm gonna have him do the zombie. Are you ready to see it? Let's watch this dancer. Oh, I got another animal too. So I'm gonna push my shapes, my directions. See him do all those dance moves? I'm programming that, and you can do it too. And remember, like she said at the end, you can have your own dance party with this. Well, don't you think that's a fun website? Let me remind you again, it's code.org. It's got all kinds of activities. So you can make your own Flappy Bird game, you can make your own dance moves. There's tons of stuff on there. I think you should really explore that. So I'm gonna go back to my fractions lesson one more time and remind you that fractions in first grade, we're dividing shapes like squares and rectangles and halves and fourths. And I wanna end you with this. Talking about my different zones of regulation. If you've been in school this year, you might have seen these charts. I think I've been in all of these zones this weekend myself. But you know, the goal is to be in the green zone. And earlier this weekend, I was kind of tired. I didn't really get enough sleep. So I thought of some ways to get me back in the green zone. I took a little nap. I got right back in the green zone. Sometimes when we're sleepy, we can be kind of cranky or upset. I want to be back in that green zone, so all I did was take a little nap. And then earlier in the morning, I was kind of confused. I didn't know what day it was. I was kind of confused about what I needed to do for some virtual work. But I figured it out on my own, just like that code.org. I never gave up. By the time I got back to figuring out my work, I was in the green zone. I was happy. Doesn't take a lot to sometimes get in this red zone. If your sibling's being mean to you, or you don't have enough computer time, maybe you might be angry or thinking about yelling. If we take a deep breath and calm down, we can slip right back to that green zone. Another trick is always being kind to each other and using good manners, like saying please and thank you. And please is our secret word for the day. So if you need to tell somebody, like your teacher or your principal, the secret word to show that you watched my fractions lesson, today's secret word is please. That's about all I have for you today. This was a shorter lesson. I hope you learned a little bit about fractions. I hope you explored Khan Academy. I hope you can find that game on EVSC, that flinging fractions. It's a really fun game. And I hope you get to spend some time on code.org. Thank you so much.